Every thought captive is our verse. 2 Corinthians 10:5 says, we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. We take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. So the grounding here is, God help me to guard what enters my mind. God help me to guard what enters my mind. The truth is, not every thought deserves access. Some must be stopped immediately. Not every thought deserves access to the inner parts of your mind, right? And so, example, a guard at a gate decides who enters your mind. Who enters your mind must do the same. You think of, the reason that we keep out the bad, or in some cases we keep in the bad. When we think of our systems were folks that like prisons and that kind of stuff, but we have to guard that there's a gate there that separates what should go in, what shouldn't go in, what should go in and what shouldn't go in. And the mind has to do exactly the same. I used to think every thought that came into my mind deserved my attention. It showed up, it entertained it. Fear, doubt, insecurity, I gave it space. But over time I realized something, my mind, I think one of our affirmations, I guard my mind, right? I protect my mind. I realized that my mind had no filter. Everything was getting in, and what got it started shaping how I felt. I had to learn to pause and ask, does this belong here? Once I started doing that, I felt something I hadn't felt before, the control, not perfection, but authority. When we think of the things that we let in, one of the biggest, things that we allow to go into our mind is what others say. And they may say something like, hey, you're not good enough, or you don't deserve this, or you shouldn't have this. And you start thinking, well, yeah, maybe I should, because I let that thought come into my mind. And the other thing is, once we start believing what others say about us, or the cadence in what we see and the examples of what we use, all of a sudden we start believing, and that our mind takes hold of it and runs with it. People can say some mean stuff. People can say some hurtful stuff. We talk often about hurting people, hurt people. And somehow we decide that, well, if they're saying it about me, it must be true. We begin caring so much about what others say, think, or now here's where it even gets even more. When I wrote the book "There Is No Tiger" about overthinking, it all dealt with control and the things that we believe, that we say to ourselves, that has nothing to do with what's really happening. We will make up a story and we will start believing it. We'll let those thoughts enter our mind, and none of it's true. We know it's not true. It's something that we project in the future that may come true. And we become prisons to our own thoughts about a future that most of the time isn't even possible, or is never going to happen. Well, what if I go outside today and I get struck by lightning? And we start thinking, and then we try to walk around the sky, trying to dodge next to buildings or something, because we think lightning's going to strike. And so what I'm saying today is those thoughts that are in our mind that try to control us of something that's not going to happen. The thoughts about what other people say about us that are not going to happen. And the things that we say about ourselves. I'm ugly. I'm not good. These negative doubts, insecurities. What if they don't hire me for this job? Oh, because maybe God has another plan for you. But then we will go down this road of these thoughts, or somebody says, you were very ugly today. I know when I was teaching high school, a lot of kids are so mean to each other because they want to feel good about themselves. So they'll say something about you, and then you start feeling what they say to you. We need to make sure that we put that gate up. Well, how do we put that gate up? Well, your brain has a filtering system called the reticular activating system. We call it the RAS. It decides what thoughts get your attention. And when you constantly choose which thoughts to focus on, you strengthen this filter. When you don't, your brain defaults to negative bias, automatically prioritizing sometimes threats or fears. Sometimes we talk a lot about the reticular activating system, meaning that you have, let's say that you buy a new car, and that new car is a blue Honda Accord, and you haven't been seeing Honda Accords that are blue in your neighborhood ever before. And all of a sudden, because you bought one and that's what's on your mind and that's the thoughts are going through your head, you see them everywhere. Everywhere you drive, you see blue Honda Accords. They're in the supermarket parking lot. They're in the airport parking lot. They're in your neighborhood, on the street. They're in people's driveways. They're everywhere because your reticular activating system is on. So what about the reticular activating system of things that are going in your life that you may not want? When you start thinking, well, I'm not going to be able to make enough money to afford the thing that I'm trying to get. And all of a sudden you lose a job. Or it kind of snowballs, to the point where you go, oh man, you've ever heard that phrase, when it rains, it pours? A lot of that is stuff that this in our mind, and that's why as we go through this system of doing our routine every single morning, we're putting our affirmations and our things in our mind that are the positive thoughts, that are the things we want, not the things that we don't want. I do some coaching and stuff, and I talk to people and I say, well, this is, what do you want to do? What do you want to happen? What do you want it to look like in 2 years? Or what do you don't want it to look like in 2 years? And here's what I always know. The person who starts off with, this is what I don't want, is the person that's harder to coach. The person who says, this is what I want to happen first, and they give you all those wonderful things that are going to happen, and then they tell you what they don't want. That's the guy that you can work with most of the time. Isn't it amazing? Think about your mind right now and the things that you do and the things that you're saying to yourself. Are they the negative things first? Do you start out with, we talk about optimism, being an optimist or pessimist? Is the glass half full or the glass half empty? If you're the person who starts out with everything that's going wrong before you start with what's going right, then we need to change that thinking around. All right, so that's just for today. Oh, I can't wait to continue to talk about this over and over again. But your heart connection is, you don't have to give every thought permission. Stop some of those thoughts from coming in. Just say, wait, stop. I am not going to receive that. I'm not going to receive that you said that to me. And I'm not going to receive that I can't control that situation anyways. So I'm not going to ruminate on that thought anymore. The invitation is, what thought do you need to stop and gate today? What thoughts are coming into your mind that you need to stop and gate today? And practice, pause and reject the negative thoughts immediately. Pause, reject the negative thoughts immediately. Pause and reject the negative thoughts immediately. So the short prayer for you is, Lord, give me the authority over what I allow in my mind. Help me just be mindful of what goes into my mind and to be able to sift out the things that are no good. And the blessed thing, may your mind be guarded with wisdom. May your mind be guarded with wisdom. And so the 3 questions for today, let me get that out of the way. I don't want you thinking about 95, but more about day 94. All right, so I'll put this in the chat for you. So the 3 questions. First question is, do you think all thoughts deserve attention? Do you believe all thoughts deserve attention? What helps people filter their thinking? What can help you filter your thinking? First thing I would say is, be aware of it. And why is it important to guard your mind? Because your mind is the gateway to your soul.